What's up, everybody? ShonnyDman here, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing great, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Talk. Oops, sorry about that. I am joined by another special guest. Please tell us your name and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Bree. I go by Disbury Nerd on Instagram. I am a cosplayer, and I'm just super happy to be here.
So very excited, and so you're very you were very nervous about doing this because this is out of your comfort zone, correct?
Yes, yes, very much so.
Okay. You're very much just a shy person. Then I take it.
Yeah,
That's okay. That's okay.
yeah, very shy.
No, I'm very glad to have you on. I'm very excited. I think your friends. I think I've had one of your friends on. Uh, Jamie Bear Fancy Pants. I think y'all friends.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I know. She's
Oh,
great.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had her on, and then I have your other friend. Oh, I forgot her name.
Olivia, Fast
Yes,
Guardian.
yes.
Yeah.
She's planning on coming on in a couple of weeks to do an episode as well. So very excited to have really all three of you on. That very excited for that. So as per usual, typically I've never met these guests before. They are just people I reached out to, and very gracious to come on. Love your cosplays. Love everything that you do. Should be coming up on screen now, but there's an image of her in her Captain Carter cosplay, along with uh, the photographer who took the pictures. So that's some nice information right there. But tell us, so you love Captain Carter, I take it.
Yes, I do.
So where did that start? Where did that love for Captain Carter start?
So it actually started because Captain America was like the second Marvel movie I had ever seen,
Mhm.
and I just instantly loved the character of Peggy Carter. I tend to just gravitate towards really strong female characters uh, because I think just because I'm so shy, that I've always looked at women like Peggy who are so sure of herself, especially a woman who was doing what she was doing in the 40s, and I just instantly was like, oh, I want to be just like her. And so then as she kind of, showed up in more of Marvel's content, and then she became Captain Carter in What If, uh, I just kind of followed that journey and just kind of fell in love with her character and her strength, while also still kind of remaining like super feminine, um, the whole way. And I just think that her suit is really, really awesome.
So you were very much excited to see her in Multiverse of Madness on live. I know she was in a couple episodes of Marvel's What Ifs, but you got to
Mhm.
see her officially on the big screen. Was that very exciting for you?
Yeah, that was definitely really cool. To see her kind of, yeah, in a like real life setting as opposed to the animation version that she had been in What If. And I just always think it's really cool to see how they made her costume, um and her hair and kind of all the little changes that they made, because they were now dealing with a real person, and it
Right.
wasn't just drawing whatever kind of they wanted to.
And then I believe she had it was a short time, but Marvel did have like a TV series for her.
Hmm.
I forgot the name of it. It kind of ran alongside Agents of Shield.
Yeah, Agent Carter.
Okay.
That was, yeah, kind of another point where I like loved her character, and I loved what the show kind of stood for and what it was about.
Oh yeah. I watched a little bit of the show. I think there were maybe 2 seasons of it. I know I did watch the first season of it, but then again, it was also coming on alongside Agents of Shield, and I was more gravitated towards Agents of Shield. But I did keep an eye on uh, that show as well. I didn't know much about uh, Captain Peggy Carter other than the Captain America First Avenger movie. But then the show came out, and I enjoyed seeing this character. Um, I like it. A lot of people liked it. She got a raw end of the deal in the Multiverse of Madness movie, but it was still very cool to see
Mm-hmm.
her live. Um, so other than Captain Carter, what other cosplays have you done?
So I have done Kate Bishop, which is my other like big one, I guess you could say. And then I did Lily Houghton from Jungle Cruise. Um, this is actually really I've only been cosplaying really like a year and a half,
Oh,
so I
really?
don't have too many. Yeah, I
Oh,
have lots
okay.
planned. So I have a lot kind of in the future planned, but I don't have too many that I've done as of yet.
What got so you've only been doing this for about a year. What got you into it?
Um, I think it was kind of a mix of a lot of different things. Um, Growing up, I actually didn't like Halloween. Like the only part I liked about Halloween was dressing up in costumes. I didn't like being scared.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then when COVID hit, I didn't really have anything to do. And so, like everybody else, I ended up on TikTok and I ended up on, the side of TikTok with a lot of cosplayers. And I would kind of look at them and be like, oh, well, I've seen stuff like that, but it was kind of cool seeing it in a different perspective, I guess you could say, and seeing it in a perspective of a lot of people really liking it rather than people kind of making like jokes about it on TV shows like, Big Bang Theory and that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so I got invited to go to my first Comic-Con in 2001 with two of my best friends. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Like I'm gonna get the costume and I'm just gonna dress up. And so that's kind of, how I did it. I just decided, this is again, I wanted to start doing stuff that was outside my comfort zone,
Mhm.
and having any kind of attention on me at all is outside of my comfort zone.
Right.
So I knew that cosplaying was going to do that. But at the same time, I have had a conversation with a couple of mutuals on Instagram about this, about how it was like, it was a good way for me to like dip my toe in the water, you could say, because the attention was on the character that I
Mhm.
was, rather than like me as a person. And so I guess you could say it kind of fuels my creativity, but it's also a good way for me to kind of step out and be a little bit more outgoing than I would normally be if you just kind of saw me at the street.
So your first. So what was it like for you? For you, I know you touched on it a little bit. That first time going to a con, what was that like? Was that just like a huge kind of like I'm way outside of my comfort zone right now situation? What was that like for you?
Yeah, it honestly was. The first day it was kind of more like a wow, like this is so much bigger than I ever imagined it being. Cause the first one that I went to was New York Comic Con, so of course it's
Oh,
like one of the biggest ones there
right.
is to go to as your first one. So it was just like so many people, and even despite it have being, the COVID protocol with
Mm,
less people, there was still a ton of people. um, so that was just amazing, and just seeing all of the artwork and all of the people who are, so talented, but also have so many of the same interests that you do.
right.
Um, and then, yeah, and then the second day was the day that I did Captain Carter, and I still remember like standing in the hotel room, like getting ready, And my friends were like, you're going to get so much like attention. Like people are going to ask you for pictures. Like it's going to be really fun for you. And I was like, oh, okay. And like I severely miss like understood how much attention they meant when they said that they were going to be people asking for pictures and coming up to me and talking to me. Um, but it was amazing. It was an amazing experience to get to do that and yeah, kind of do something that I never would have seen myself doing before.
Man, that's wild, and I'm sure that's just like very like, oh man, this is a lot now that everybody's coming like up to you, talk to you about your cosplay and everything. I'm sure that was just like you said, it was just a massive like over thing for you to go through. But that is very cool. You get out your comfort zone. You're in a place where everybody has the same passion as you do. So I'm sure that definitely kind of helped ease some of that anxiety or pressure of like, oh man, there's gonna be a lot of people trying to talk to me. Um, how long did it take you to make your Captain Carter cosplay?
So I actually purchased my Captain Carter
Okay.
cosplay. Uh, at the time, I was working 3 jobs, I
Oh,
think. So making anything
mm,
was not, really in the cards for me.
right, right.
Um, but it was still crazy because I mean, What If didn't come out that long before the New York Comic Con, and so that costume actually didn't exist really until maybe like 2 months beforehand.
Okay.
And so I had actually started to put together kind of like my own interpretation of like what I thought that Peggy Carter would wear because I knew that she had been in a couple of comics and she kind of had her comic book like or look. So I was putting together something kind of, similar and I was going to do like the hair and everything. And then I kind of caught glimpse on social media that one of the companies had released this cosplay and I was like, oh my God, well, now I have to have it. And I ordered it and I literally got it like 3 days
Oh wow.
before we had to, head up to New York. And so
Did was the shield a part of that, or is that something you had to get separately?
that was separate. That's actually my second shield.
Oh,
If you look back in the beginning of my Instagram when I started posting, I actually used a different shield last year. I used a stealth shield, Captain America's stealth shield.
okay.
That actually my friends that I went with had bought for me for Christmas, I think it was. And so I hand wrote like a note and it said like, Peggy, I thought you could use this from Steve. And I like taped
Oh,
it on the shield.
oh, that's cool.
So I did that, yeah. But then this year, I knew I really wanted her shield. And so I found this, really amazing shield maker, and got kind of the real deal, and it's metal and
Oh, so he actually made
yeah,
it.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is cool.
He makes aluminum shields.
Oh, that is pretty cool. That is very cool. Is it pretty heavy since it's like an actual reeled?
Yeah, it's I think it's like 7 or 8 pounds.
Okay.
And originally I have so it like in my harness I have a like a magnet that's like in the resin of the buckle.
Mhm.
And so I had put a magnet on the shield so that I could like carry it on my back.
Okay.
Um Unfortunately there was a mishap like 5 minutes after I got to the con and so I couldn't do that anymore. And
Oh,
so I had to carry it around all day. So it definitely got a little heavy after like 12 hours
oh, I
of walking
bet.
around.
So you've just been primarily to New York Comic Con. Are there any other ones that you're gonna like check out, or is that like your primary place to go?
So this year I definitely plan on going to more.
Mhm.
There's gonna be one in New Jersey in the
Okay.
summer. that I'm planning on going to Contropolis. It's the same people that do the one in Rhode Island, and I think they do one in Pennsylvania and maybe a couple other places. So we're definitely going to try to check that out. And then possibly, depending on my work schedule, I might go to the one in DC, one of the Ace Comic Cons.
Okay, that sounds like a very fun thing. I am so I've only been to one con in my lifetime. It was a very small one near where I live. So I only went just to go with a friend. I was never really invested in that kind of thing. I went because my friend wanted to go, and I was like, okay, we can go together. I do have friends who do cosplay, but I was never really interested in anything like that. But I am going to one in August during Labor Day. I'm going to Dragon Con because a friend of mine who I had on here to do an episode was telling me about it, and it's only 2 hours from where I live. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. So I was like, okay, that's relatively close. So the plan is this Labor Day weekend, I'm going to go up to Dragon Con and check that out, do YouTube stuff. And so I'm very excited to check that out. She loves it. It's a very pretty big size event, so I'm very excited to go check that out for sure. Um, what's what's some future cosplays that you're interested in doing?
So right now in the works, I have Queen Maeve from The Boys.
I've not watched that show.
Because uh,
I had plenty of people tell me I need to watch it. It's on my to do list, but I haven't gotten around to watching it yet.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So that's yeah, probably gonna be the first one I have going on. There's a group that I met through Comic Cons, obviously a group of cosplayers, and that's where I met Olivia
Okay.
as well. And they all do the boys um, cosplays, and so the day that they did it this year, I wasn't originally supposed to go to the con, and I ended up, but it was like too last minute. So next year, I'm hoping to join them with that. And then I also have a friend helping me with kind of like an original Princess Leia if she was a Jedi kind of look.
Okay.
So kind of playing off the legends and all of that, but it's a little bit more of an original design.
Okay. Oh, that should be exciting. I'm excited to see that. Um,
Yeah.
so you're so uh, the branch off from the cosplays and let's dive a little bit into like entertainment wise. Like, so which one do you like more? Do you like Marvel, DC, or Star Wars, or all of them equal to you?
I definitely tend to lean much more into Marvel. Um, I haven't watched a lot of DC as of late.
Mm.
Um, I did see, the Wonder Woman movies because I've always loved Wonder Woman. I kind of got into superheroes because my grandpa and I would sit and watch the Justice League every day. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
It's a good show.
And so, yeah, yeah. So that has a little bit of a sentimental value. Um, I just started to get into Star Wars a couple of years ago because of a coworker. And I've just kind of fallen in love with the franchise, but I definitely say that I tend to lean mostly towards Marvel if I'm going to pick
Okay.
a favorite.
So far, if you had to pick uh your five Marvel movies, like so let's say you're trapped on an island and you had to only pick five Marvel movies, which ones are you picking?
And they have to be the movies.
Okay, movie and shows. I'll throw the shows in there too.
Okay. Okay. So the first would definitely be Captain America.
Hmm.
I still love Captain America. Um, the Hawkeye series. I think that's just such a fun. show. Um, what other ones? Probably Thor Ragnarok, because
Okay.
again, it's just I think that's just such a fun movie. How many left do I have? Two?
Two more.
Hmm. Probably Captain America Civil War. Yeah, Civil War and um Black Widow.
Okay. Okay. It's not bad. I enjoyed Black Widow, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people about the movie. I enjoyed Black Widow, but again, it's a movie that should have came out sooner.
Hmm.
Because obviously there's really no point in the movie, even though you kind of know what her outcome is. It kind of just takes it away a little bit, but I mean, still a good movie. Um,
Yeah.
Hawkeye, the Hawkeye series, I did enjoy. I loved it. Very fun, Christmassy time of show to watch. Um, let's see, and then the Captain America movies. Well, first let me say Thor Ragnarok. Good, good. It was a nice kind of revamp of his character. Although Love and Thunder kind of took it a step back.
Hmm.
But the Captain America movies, most definitely, I enjoy the first Avenger, but the main two I love are is Civil War and Winter Soldier. Uh, those two are my top tier favorite Captain America movies. Um, and then I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the newest Captain America movie with Sam Wilson as Captain America. So I'm interested to see that as well. Um, so you said so Marvel, you love Marvel, DC, depending on what it is, and then Star Wars. What's a movie? What's a movie that what's besides those, but that those particular set of movies? What's a movie outside of those that is one of your favorites?
Um, Honestly, one of my favorite movies that I just tend to watch over and over again, is Tangled.
Okay, okay. Have I seen that? I think I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never watched
Mhm.
it fully through. But I think I have checked it out. It's a good movie. So from what I've seen, um, let's see what else. So you're not a big fan of horror movies, right? Because it sounds like you're not.
No, definitely not. I've only ever watched probably one scary movie in my whole life, and I mostly spent the movie under a blanket.
It's very hard with because like a lot of my friends aren't really big into horror movies either, so it's very hard to try to find somebody to watch horror movies with. At that point, I'm just like, all right, fine, I'll just go watch it by myself since y'all are too scared to watch it.
Yeah, I have the opposite problem where I have a lot of friends who love horror movies and they love doing like scary haunted houses and
Oh
stuff around
yeah, those are the
Halloween.
best.
And they'll be like, "Come on, Bree," and I'll be like, "No, no, thank you. I'll see you guys later."
We went a few years ago. I went with some friends for a friend of mine's birthday. We went to Atrox here in Alabama. It's a one of the famous haunted house attraction, and we went, and it was very fun because we went, and so we were all like, we got our token, we waited our time, and so we went through, and they had us in this little waiting area to kind of like just get everything ready to go. And there was a guy, we didn't notice it, but there was a guy in like a wolf costume, like quietly came out of nowhere and went up to my friend Matt and like sniffed him and like freaked him out. And they started freaking everybody else out as well. And then that same night, we were going through the kind of like this little witches swamp area, and we're all looking at this woman as a witch, like yelling at us and things like that. And a guy with a chainsaw comes out of nowhere and starts chasing us. Um, my friend Jimmy lost his shoe. I ran into a wall. So it was a wild night for sure. I love the scary things. Those are I love them. They're just great. That's eventually you're gonna have to like see a scary movie with me because that's just how things are gonna go. Um, let's see what else. What are your thoughts on the Marvel shows that they've done? Obviously other than Hawkeye, we've had She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, one,
I mean, honestly, I think. Oh yeah.
WandaVision, Loki, and
Mhm.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What are your thoughts on the Marvel shows?
I mean, honestly, I've really enjoyed all of them in their own ways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I definitely enjoyed Hawkeye. It's definitely one of my favorites, as well as Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Um, I think that's what honestly probably like my favorite show that they've come out with.
Okay.
Just yeah, again, because I've always just loved the Captain America story all the way through from Steve to Bucky to Sam. I think that's just such an interesting mantle, and I think that the show was so interesting. The way it kind of unfolded and the way that they had Sam take up that mantle and take up the shield. Um, She-Hulk, I thought was great. I thought that it was so relatable, um, not only like as a woman, but just a young person and a
Mm-hmm.
young adult in general, trying to navigate all those kind of weird, awkward things.
Right.
And you don't really know who you are, but like you're trying to like date people and you're trying to make yourself known professionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that was such an interesting take on that as well. Um, Miss Marvel was great. I thought that was such a a cute and interesting show, and the way that it was really told through the eyes of a teenager. And I really appreciated that they had her act like a teenager because
All
I
right.
think media has this tendency of having teenagers talk like they're like 25-year-olds. And you're like, but she's like 15.
Exactly.
So I
Yes.
think
Exactly.
such a good job with that, and the way she would get so excited about things like the way a teenage girl would.
Yeah. Miss Marvel was definitely one of my favorites. They did such a cool thing, and the way they did it was like having the animation kind of like intertwine throughout the episodes,
Hmm.
and it was almost like an actual comic book at times.
Hmm.
So that was very cool. Um, let's see, and then She Hulk. Uh, I was fine with She Hulk. It had some good moments. I do enjoyed it, but I think it was more geared to, and which is fine. It was more geared to a uh, probably more relatable to uh, uh, women and young girls. Get out of here. Um, one second. Okay, sorry about that. So I still enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty funny show to watch. Moon Knight was was good. So the thing is, like some of these characters, She Hulk, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, these are characters that I never really knew about. I grew up and I never read comics, so I
Hmm.
never knew anything about these kind of characters until these shows came out. So I'm watching these characters with like a completely fresh set of eyes, and I enjoyed what I saw out of each of their shows. Very interested to see on what they look like going forward. Um, now, so as we get close to wrapping up, what out of the Phase Four uh, Marvel movies? I don't know if you've seen all of them or not, but if you have, which one was your favorite?
Um, which one was my favorite? Honestly, I always get like so like confused where the phases start and end.
Hmm. Oh no, I got you.
Um, Gosh, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of the names. So let me see. The movies were Black Widow was Phase 4, The Eternals, Shang Chi.
Oh, Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was probably um my favorite. Um, that was a really cool
Oh
movie.
yeah,
I
it was
really
a
enjoyed.
very solid movie. I've read the animation, the CGI looked good, the visual looked great. It was a very good movie. And then there's Wakanda Forever,
Hmm.
um, Far From Home, or No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, which is again I love Spider-Man, so that was definitely one of my favorites. And then Multiverse of Madness was another. Um, but I'm excited to see what the future looks like because we're about to get started with Phase 5 next month, I think, because I think the third Ant-Man movie comes out next month.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see what that future looks like. Um, but yeah, I love Marvel very much so, and so
Yeah.
Marvel, Star Wars, DC's fine depending on what. If it's Batman, love it. Uh, I did. I enjoyed Wonder Woman. The second one was fine. I the second one was fine. But I do. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is. I was like, hey, this is one of those kind of like castings that just makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, but now I know they're gonna now James Gunn's in charge of DC, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with the whole revamping of that. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see what the future holds. New York Comic Con is on my list of places to visit. I don't know when I will be getting around to that, but my plan is to try to like go to at least one of these cons once a year to try at least for my own entertainment, but also try to meet some of the guests that I've had on as well. I think that'd be pretty cool thing for me to do. Um, and then I don't know. Hopefully, we'll try to get you down to one of these cons here in the South, or other than Dragon Con. I'm not sure what other cons there are around
Yeah.
in my
I mean,
area.
Dragon Con is definitely on the list.
Okay.
Um, yeah, with my job, like timing is kind of weird
Yeah.
depending
Oh
on the
yeah.
year. But eventually, whenever I can make it work, I would definitely love to go down there. I've had a couple of friends that I've met in New York Comic Con that they love going down to Dragon Con. So
Yeah, definitely have to check that out. But other than that, guys, I think this is the ending point for this episode of Nerd Talk. I am very much appreciative of Bree coming on. I know she's this is a very big jump out of her comfort zone for sure. Uh, but I'm glad to hear that this is you're branching out and this is something you wanted to do. Um, I'm sure your friends are very excited to see you on this episode. Um, but one last time, for those who are watching and listening, how can people follow you and support you?
currently, I'm really only on Instagram. It's DizBree_nerd. I have plans to eventually get to TikTok, but I haven't quite found the time to do that yet. So hopefully I'll be there soon, also under the same name.
Well, we definitely look forward to that, and we definitely look forward to seeing many more of your cosplays. You look like you put a lot of work and effort into it. They look great. I'm very excited to see what the future holds for you in that aspect. And obviously, I'll be there to like cheer you on from the sidelines to encourage you more. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching this episode of Nerd Talk. Hit that like and subscribe button, comment below. Be sure to go give Bree a follow. Yeah, I doubt you will regret it. So again, appreciate you guys for watching and listening, and you guys have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you guys in the next video.